It's Our Story. Mark Johnson, Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, it's two types of things. When people with disabilities participate in civil disobedience, a couple things happen. You know, in the old days, they used to go up to people who appear to be non-disabled, and they used to say, would you please tell him or her to move, or would you tell them to stop? So a lot of times they would go up to a direct support professional, or some people call them attendants, some call them personal assistance service, whatever. It seems like one of the new terms now is direct support professional. And they'd go up to them and say, you need to tell him to stop that, or you need to, tell him to stop it, or if you don't stop him from doing that, then I'm going to arrest him. And then then that didn't work. They came to recognize that doesn't work, and so they'd come to you then and try to intimidate you, and the prisons aren't very accessible, and what are you going to do about your bedding, and we might not be able to have your charger there to charge your chair up, and all that kind of stuff. They try to intimidate you. Well, no, then that didn't start working, and so then when they did finally start arresting people, where's the accessible shuttle? I mean, how are you going to get me from point A to point B? I mean, so there are a lot more accessible shuttles out there. One, because, there are prisoners in the general population with disabilities that need to be transported. Also, there are folks like us who were doing civil disobedience, and a lot of times in the earlier years, they bring out the school bus because that's the only one they could find, or some human service vehicle because some human service agency had a lift-equipped one. But the mainstream fleet of the correction system or whatever didn't have them back then. And then, so it's been a process to get to the point to where, you being treated like anybody else if you do something to break the law. And I think a lot of times now protest groups are kind of, I'm not sure. I'd be interested to find out, but my guess is a lot of protest groups that do stuff in group masses sometimes are kept in part of the group. But they used to separate the non-disabled people out and send them to general population, then they'd send us to our pod, and then they'd take, like I said earlier, if you needed more medical stuff, and put you in the jail infirmary. So there was a lot of that kind of weird stuff, the times you eat in the morning. There's just a whole set of rules that you're not familiar with, and it's a learning process. It's nerve-wracking and it's anxious. I mean, I don't go into a direct action today and not have some anxiety still and butterflies about just what is going to happen. Is somebody going to get stupid and grab my chair and try to pull me out of the way? Are they going to try to dump me out? Are they going to say, hey, sir, if you don't move here, I'm going to have to arrest you. Do you want to move your chair yourself, or do you want me to move it? You get, in some cities that are more familiar with protests, you get a lot more of that. I remember in San Francisco, when they arrested, they put us in a gymnasium, and they had a curtain down the middle, and they had men on one side and women on the other side. So they did, separate you by gender, by this curtain down the gym. But the interesting thing about it was we were in a gym. Now either they didn't have room for us, which is the case sometimes, if you go in mass. They've held us in San Francisco. They've held us down in the Bay Area down there, in some of those big old hollow storage things, I guess, where they put cargo or something, and processed us there. So it's nobody. I've never seen anybody seriously hurt. I've only seen people grow as a result of participating in direct action.
The It's Our Story project is a national effort to make disability history public and accessible. Visit us at www.itsourstory.org or on the It's Our Story project YouTube channel.